This is the comic book haul, and I don't know if I'll get all 72 comics in this one video because, well, you never know. But Player's Choice is it used to be up here near me in Charlotte, which is a town that's kind of our town, our hub town, I guess you can call it. But you can follow them on Facebook and Instagram. I don't have a Facebook. But this was September the 10th. It was a nice, cool morning. So I was like, you know what? I can't wait much longer before I go down there because I just love to get me some stuff. Now, as far as the Wilmington store for the other place, yeah, I can wait a little bit longer. Tickets are sold at the door. All right, so there's some kind of September 14th, 2024, 10 a.m. Oh, okay, there is a. Oh, this is what he was talking to me about. So there's a comic book show in Florence, South Carolina. Now, I've heard about this one from somebody, but I'm like, okay. So I got that information, and I got another thing right here. Do you like the prices and quality of Player's Choice? We realize that many people visit our store live far. Wait, hold on. Visit our store live far away. Gotcha. Okay. From Myrtle Beach. This is the biggest reason we decided to start shipping. Well, we live near an ocean, so we have plenty of ships out there. If you like something shipped to you from our store, contact us at this. So there's other things on here, blah, blah, blah. So if you're interested in buying something there for yourself, there's the information. All right. This is my little honey hole because the comic books that are at the dollar bin, they're 12 for $10. So it's even better. Now this was, we're actually starting at the back because these were my, well, if I have any, when I put some comics in the basket on the side, I put, well, if I need one more, here's the one more. So there's 9 over on the side. I had 3. I was like, well, there we go. We got 3 plus 9 is 12. And this was part of those. I've never read any of this movie, but after seeing the movie, and since it is before 2011, I thought, well, I can give it a chance. I know it's going to be like a 5-second read. Well, maybe not literally, maybe more like a 5-6 minute read for each one of these. But at least I got a pretty good little chunk. I never find number ones either. Somebody beats me to them. I don't collect number ones per se, but when I'm starting to get to where if I see them, I get them just because I don't know, they're getting more rare to get number ones, which is ironic because that's all they ever sell nowadays with modern comics. All right, so got number 2, 3, then it skips. Let's actually look at the covers. I'm sure you're like, no, can I see the covers, please? The covers are not, to my opinion, that impressive. I think it feels more like it's done by computers and not as hand drawn. I could be completely wrong, but I don't know. Something about modern comic books just kind of threw me off on that. It's like whenever they first started doing computer animated TV shows, like in those movies, oh, look at computer generation stuff like that. What was that movie that was awful? Well, there's a lot of them. The one with Lawnmower Man. All it was a big old, let's watch computer generated stuff. The movie was awful. Selling point was computer generation. I feel like since we're on the beginning of the whole computer generation thing, people went overboard thinking it was the latest thing. I think people want real. I think that's what they really want. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just because I'm old. I prefer real over computer. Of course, then again, with this day and age, who knows? We got number 6 and number 7. Now, these are all 2006 sales before they did the 2011 reboot, way before that. So he's got a bionic arm, like the Bionic Woman kind of arm. All right, so Armageddon Inferno. I think I got a few of those, but it's got Lobo right there on the cover. What's not to like about that? Yeah, I need to get all of these. I think it's got 4 issues, limited series. There's that name Ostrander again. Here's the Alien Agenda. I'm missing 1 issue now, number 2. So I got numbers 1, 3, and 4. And I heard that it's kind of I don't know if it's good, but it's foundational because Captain Atom really rose to the top during this series. And no wonder he's on the front cover. I didn't know that was him when I first saw this. All right, so make your play. So it's like he's doing, maybe they're going throughout time. In the final moment. Da-da-da-da. All right, and then we get to the only Booster Gold comic book I found was number 4. That's good. That's an older one. That's from the 1986. That's probably right after the New 52 ended. When was the New 52? Was it 86 or 87? I think. maybe in 85, 86. It's really hard to know. It's like New 52 happened at the same time I was getting my driver's license, so it's kind of like for a while there, I wasn't really into comics as much because if I can go anywhere, I need gas money. So gas money or comic book money? Girls or comic books? It's not a hard decision to make, honestly. Kind of regretful, though, and I wish I could go back and change my mind. Anyway, all right, we got Brigade number 1. Now, I had some of these back in the day because Image Comics were like the thing to get back in the 90s, and so when they went into the dollar bin, I don't have this one now, and it's probably going to be just like the rest of them. It's going to be like Extreme, all about Extreme, the Blood Brothers, Part 1. But it's a number 1. Look at this cover. That looks like a real picture. I mean, I don't know if it's supposed to be. I don't know if it is, but that looks real. And I know who Damage is. I've seen it. I think I've read about the first 3 issues. So Damage from 1995. But that's pretty amazing. I wonder if that is an actual person. And if anybody knows anything about it, this is number 12. Fragments Conclusion. And I doubt he's watching, but if you're watching, Dr. Raul Silver Age, this is the comic book you just went over. I was like, I just bought that one. Now, it wasn't in one of my previous videos because my comic books have been sitting out in the car for 2 days. Today, they finally brought the plastic crates that I put my stuff in, and one of them was broke. So I got 5 new crates. I'm going to take the other one back and see if Walmart will exchange the one, even though they don't sell them there. See what I can do, because I don't want to bring all 6 of them back. I already put 2 boxes full of comics from stuff. I'm about to go put some more in one. But I have nowhere else to put comic books. I'm going to have to put them in those crates. And then I can slide them way underneath this. Oh my gosh. Wait, hold on. They're perfect. There's about a thumb's width between the bottom of this table and the top of those. Oh, I'm going to slide 1, 2, 3 of those back in the back here. Oh, more places for comics. Yay. All right, so that's really creepy looking. But it's a number 6. That's pretty good. That's way far back, 1988. Then it jumps way up to number 62, which I have never read anything close to it. But 1992, it's a good year. Firestorm, there's still a few more of those. Now, they got a lot of Firestorms down there, but they're a lot of the same issue over and over again. I'm surprised I didn't already have this one. So Firehawk fights along. I don't think I've ever had this issue. Back in the 90s, I had a lot of Firestorm issues. It was whenever he started turning into that Captain Planet furry guy, whatever, that he was more like into the nature, save the planet kind of crap. Sorry, I'm really into saving the planet, but let's be honest. Some of the stuff that people are doing, it's not going to work. But it's a little bit overboard. Look, there's the Bride of Frankenstein in the back right there. So this is the fly, not Roger's favorite called the human fly. This is a different fly. Chromium strikes, and he's out for blood. Doesn't the fly's big old eyes? He reminds me of somebody else, like something more cartoony. I don't know. We got the fly number 3, and that was number 2. Yeah, these used to be pretty easy to get a hold of in the quarter bin back in the day, back in the 90s. Even right after they came out, they were pretty easy to get a hold of. And I did have a bunch of these back in the day, but, you know, moving around and round and round I go. Where I stop, nobody knows. Let me grab another pile here from I put them in a plastic cube because these covers make them slippity-slidey all over the place. And let me go and put these in the back of that cube. I probably should have pulled from the back of the cube now I think about it. All right, whatever. So now we got the Spectacular Spider-Man. Now, I don't normally buy Spider-Man comics, and people hate the 90s Spider-Man comics, but I'm going to tell you right now, the only ones I've ever read were from the 90s, and they were actually pretty good in my personal opinion. This is a number 1. There's a new web slinger in town. That's the Scarlet Spider. This is probably a 90s comic, I'm guessing, because of the $1.95. Plus, it looks very 90s. Virtual Mortality Part 4. So when I saw the Part 4, I was like, where's Part 3 and 2 and 1? And then I noticed, well, this is a number 1. So I'm not going to find number 0, number -1, and number -2, although they might do that with these kind of comics. But, yeah, I'm not seeing a date on here because Marvel doesn't always do that. I mean, sometimes it'll be printed on the side right here, but not like DC. So, and sometimes you'll see like, 1992 celebration, whatever. So I'm not 100% sure when this was printed. Probably mid to late 90s. It seems like that was when the whole clone saga went Unfortunately, I only found one of these, and they had quite a lot of these. So if you go to Player's Choice and you desperately need number one, they got quite a few of these. Not sure why, but they're in the dollar bin. So it's Star Wars The Last Command. I do like the Dark Horse era. I don't remember ever seeing this one before. I got a few Superman from Volume 2. This is 1991. This is right before his death. But the artwork looks really strange on this, but I was like, what the hey, I need it. Then Here Lies Earth's Greatest Hero. Now watch this. This dollar comic has this on the back. I was like, that's awesome. I can't believe I got the patch you wrap on their arm, the arm patch. So this is the January 1993, number 75. And I've had this one before. I know I have. I definitely remember it. Right after the death of Superman and the reign of the Supermen, I read a lot of those back in the day. I was really getting back into it then. Like I said on a previous video, I'd actually walk down to the flea market on Saturdays to pick up comics, and mostly dollar bin stuff. Like, it wasn't stuff that's too out of date. It was people, like, they'd read them, they just want to resell them. Because back then people didn't have the internet, so they actually bought comic books and then they just resell them after they read them, because they just like, I read it, what else do I need from it? So that's Bloodlines. And the I swear I thought I had this, but according to my thing I don't have it. But again, a lot of these covers do have a lot of similarity. Now the blue Superman, I definitely want to get all of them. I thought that was Brainiac at first right there, but that's actually Metallo. Once again, we got blue Superman. You gotta be careful when you're looking at these. I was like, number 22, number 22. No, it's number 68. This one looks really interesting. We got Superman and the Atom. Crisis in Kandor. And of course, Kandor is the bottle city, so I guess Atom helps him shrink down. When you see Kandor, you often see the Atom for some reason, I guess because he gets small. Back to back with Scorn. I think Scorn was one of these new superheroes they created in the mid-90s, like Damage and a few others, just to try to get some new blood in there. Then we got Superman number 71. She's bold, she's bad, she's bod. They're using a computer term, like bods. Yeah. Back then, we didn't know what computers were. We just knew you plug them up to a Barbie and you can create your own woman, thanks to Weird Science. I think Weird Science did more to further the advancement of computers than any other thing in the world. I know that I never cared about Barbie until I watched Weird Science, the movie. I'm just kidding about that. All right. And then it was blue and red Superman. So I think at first he had a split thing going on. I don't know what happened to make it just become blue Superman. And here's one. It's got the original Superman shield on there, and he's wearing some really weird things right there. I find out I definitely enjoy these older Superman comics, and there's somebody that everybody seems to like, Wave Runner. I don't know if he died, but everybody always talks about him like in past tense, like, oh, he was such a great character, like kind of like, oh, I wish he would have lived, that kind of feeling, you know. And this is interesting. It looks like a bunch of panels on the front. And they're all different colors. We got blue, orange, green, and red. Almost like we're having spring, summer, winter, fall kind of concept. He's everywhere. It's a pretty interesting cover. We got the Supermen. So the trial of the Team Superman. I think this was after the New 52. Well, I know it was after the not New 52, after the reboot of the Crisis. So I think she was an alien clone thingy, whatever. Yeah. Well, not a clone like he is. I'm talking about more of a mimic, like she can mimic. And I just thought this was a cool looking cover. Period. The One Man JLA Part 404. But either way, I definitely want to pick up the Superman from Volume 2 and read them. And then I'm trying to figure out, like, I've seen her on a few issues. Like, I think I have one of her in the one in my room that's on the shelf at the end that lights up every night because it's a glow in the dark. There's one that has her on it that mimics that one. I don't know if it glows in the dark, but it looks just like the same kind of thing. And I thought this was very interesting. We have Stars and Stripes. Was in Superman? I had no idea. That was a good series. It was a lot of fun. Anybody else there actually read it? I read every single issue with, and it was almost exactly like the first season of Stargirl. Uh, it's like, well, now I know where they got the inspiration from, but they also took a lot of other inspirations from Infinity Incorporated, the JSA 2000 comic series. I mean, it was Jeff Johns. He kind of amalgamated everything. Now, here's a series I would really like to get all of them because I've heard they're good, and I don't know, they just look always interesting. This cover withstanding. It's not the most exciting cover. Okay, so maybe in the early days they weren't as cool covered, but some of these covers really are shockingly awesome. Look at that Scarecrow. Okay, maybe I'm picking out the wrong ones to say I like the covers. Got another one of those coming in right here. I'm not sure if she is, but it reminds me of, what was her name? They made her into like they're making everybody into Green Lanterns now. Star Sapphire. So now it's not just Star Sapphire, it's the Star Sapphire and the Star Sapphires. Whatever. I'll put them up here this time because these other comics are still jingling and jingling their way. Alright, I know I had all these at one time, but I never did get around to reading the Team 1 Wildcats because they were like, 25-cent bin back then. But I definitely want to read them now. And Team Youngblood, it never really called me before, but it's Youngblood, and it was always like their version of Avengers, in my opinion. So I don't know if Team Youngblood's different, like it's Avengers West Coast or something. I don't know. But I got quite a lot of those. There's only about a dozen, maybe. And look at this. Thunder Ages, it looks like very Golden Age looking. I mean, I know it's not Golden Age, but it definitely has that vibe to it. At least in my opinion, with little bubble heads and their suits, the way they look with a little Captain America. And those massive wings on his head. Yeah, it definitely gives me that feeling it's trying to be all Golden Age. Trinity, I think I found just one issue there, number 9. I think I have a bunch of those coming that should be here tomorrow from Psychedelic Squirt Gun. Aaron is what I call him. But I think he's either sending a bunch of them or maybe Rob from Florida sending a bunch. But I have to go by 2 different lists when I'm out there looking around because I have a list on one phone, which is an Excel spreadsheet. And I try to make it alphabetical and everything. And then I got another, the regular CLZ app. Uncle Sam, now I don't know much about this one, but I've heard things, but I can't remember if they're good or bad. But I got number 1 and number 2. That's it hurts my eyes to look at that. The color contrast is so crazy. Oh, and X Factor. Now, I had the first dozen issues, definitely. I had a subscription. So, reading the first dozen again definitely is something on my agenda. And then reading past that. I know I'm never going to get number 6. But I think they make a reprint somewhere. Number 26. I've read number 17. I think that's the one where they... It reminds me of that art right there. All right, since I saw the, what is it called? The Young Justice again on DVD, the Forever People are actually interesting to me now. I've never been interested in the Forever People before. Yeah, that's the team that was on Young Justice. It was such a weird team. It's like, I don't know if I have numbers 4 and 5 and 6. I just need numbers 1, 2, and 3. That's the only ones I found there. But you know how the dollar bins are. They're not in alphabetical order or whatever. You find pockets of stuff. So hopefully I'll go back sometime. I try not to spend more than 2 hours there now because otherwise it becomes more of I get anxiety about going like, oh my gosh, I got to make a whole day out of it. And then I know my dad's going to call like, where are you? Where you been? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, Dad, can I not have a day to myself, please? It's like, what do you need me for, All right. Oh, and then they had a lot of this, which I was really excited about. It's G.I. Joe Special Missions. I was really stoked about finding some special mission stuff. Look at that. I like it whenever he trains her and she becomes a ninja later on. I think, is that Beachhead? A lot of people like Beachhead. I'm not really, Look at that. That's awesome. these just bring a smile. If you can see I'm sure you can see the smile on my face. It's like that right there. These are just beautiful. It takes me back to when I used to read these when I was a kid. All right. Yeah, I remember me and Chris LaBianca used to talk about G.I. Joe all the time. That was back in ninth grade, and then his dad got a Corvette and became a big jerk. Anyway, I still like Corvettes. I just don't like jerks. I mean, if you're going to become a jerk because you have a Corvette. All right, anyway, so JLA versus Bruce Wayne. I swear I had this one, but according to my thing, I don't have it. So I think I have a similar one from the, oh, you know what it is? I have a Justice League, like, International versus Bruce Wayne. Because I don't remember him looking like that. I remember him standing up taller and kind of like he's messing with his cufflinks or something. So that's probably what it was I'm thinking of. And I could be completely wrong. Maybe I'm getting maybe... Yeah, don't joke like that. Dementia is not funny, that's for sure. All right, so Johnny Quest. This is the an Action Quest one-shot. Well, if it's a one and done, that's really good then. Hey, there's 2 people watching. Yeah, Johnny Quest. Now, I remember the series back in the 90s, and the toys were fantastic. I had so many of them. I just really ate them up. This looks like the original Johnny Quest, and then the newer one's got like the hair in his eyes, kind of like the skater cut that everybody was going for in the 90s. So this is interesting. Yeah, and this guy was in the TV series. But yeah, we got the new Johnny Quest and the old Johnny Quest. A Tale of Two Quests, yeah. But it's a one in... Okay, that's going to go on my read it now pile. I'll probably read it right after I get off of here. Because I'm like, now I'm really intrigued by that. And I did watch the cartoon, but man, the toys were awesome. I can't get over, like, they remind me of Micronauts, the clear bodies and everything with the human heads instead of the silver heads. But yeah, the toys were fantastic. All right, whenever they were in Quest World. The normal ones, they were cool too. I had a few of those. Shield is another character I really dig because he is older than Captain America, and I feel like, people always go, oh, he's just a Captain America ripoff. No, on contraire, mon frere. If anything, it's the other way around. I'm not saying Captain America is a ripoff of him, but he is older than Captain America. All right, well, then we got Legion. I do have a few of those I need. It's probably going to be a series I'm not going to enjoy much, but let me know. Gray Man, I'm sure you've read these because you like the Legion too, but I've never read the Legion like these. I have a feeling like, okay, so there was a Legion era right after Crisis that got me out of Legion when I was a kid. It was just so dark. And I think it was written by Grant as well. Now the art on here is not as dark, but I don't know, I got that same feeling about like this is not as happy-go-lucky. This is more... There's no black and white. It's a very gray area on everything. Anyway. Oh, okay, so here's Marvel Age. This is something I want to find out. Like, I didn't open this in a store, but it grew on the front cover. You think I'm going to leave it there? No. Is it comics, or is it like, well, coming this month, we're going to have this, and let's talk to the artist? Okay. Okay, I'm expecting a whole lot of that in this issue, because I feel like this is more of a magazine. Like, it's like, here's coming up this month. Let's talk to the artist. Let's talk to this person. Let's talk to that. Yeah, it's a lot of that. I figured as much. But it's got Elf on the back. I just found out. That's good. And it's got him on the front. So, gotta love Gru. So, yeah, this is not a comic per se. Like, some of these, I can't tell if they're comics or if they're comic fanzines. So I fault those and thinking, like Marvel Saga, I think this is a comic. It's got a wraparound cover. But Paul said they were like 50 cents. You know that they weren't really anything on them. It's kind of a combination between history. Oh, you know what? I just realized. Yeah, it is a history book. So it's kind of giving you an abbreviated. Okay, so this like maybe be reprinting select panels from several issues, kind of giving you the synopsis of them. That's what I'm guessing. Kind of like reading. What are those encyclopedias? What do they call them? I have a bunch of them. I used to have every single one of them, and then I thought, well, Wikipedia's around, so why do we need them? Stupid me. I got rid of mine. All right, we got 9 and 10. I used to have the amazing, whatever it's called, the reprints of those they made back in the 80s. Oh, in Comic Book Cure, no, not Comic Book Cure, what's his name? Cheap Comic Collector was going over some comics he got recently. and he had a cover. I was like, oh, I forgot I had that one. It was Amazing Adventures. It was a reprint of them fighting Eunice, not the woman off of Mama's Family. It was UNUS, like it looks like anus with a U at the beginning. And back when I was at middle schooler, I was like, look at Enos. Yeah, I was one of those. I think every middle schooler was like that. And this is where I've never read. Okay, I don't know if I really want to. I hate crossovers like this, but I already have number one, so I'm like, okay, gosh, number two. I shouldn't just leave it there. I don't know. I love Transformers, but I'm not sure I'm gonna like a crossover. And New Warriors number 14. Sure. I mean, it's $1. I'm not a biggest New Warriors fan, but I do like some of it. I've read a few of things before. I've heard a lot of good things about it. Scion, number one. It's a number one, okay? So it's a number one. The artwork in these looks so amazing, the cross-gen products, but I have no idea about them. I don't know why there's not any more talk on this. And plus, the name Ron Mars sounds extremely familiar. But anyway, but the artwork in all the cross-gen comics I've ever seen are just off the chart amazing. So I don't know why there's not a lot more discussion on those. Maybe they're just absolutely terrible. Here's a comic I used to read as a kid a little bit, like when I get them. It's by Epic, so that means I might have to get my marker out and do some corrections in this. I'm starting to realize that Epic Comics, they're not made for, like when I was buying them. This is actually 1989, so I wasn't a kid then. But I'm always a kid at heart. But anyway, the artwork on the cover looks really good. So we'll find out. This is also, okay, so this was one of the ones that I was like, well, if I need, actually these three are the other three. The ones that were like, well, if I need a spacer. So I guess I grabbed them from the other side. Terax, because it's a cool looking cover, but it's cosmic powers. I just don't know if it's one of those things that if I'm gonna have to pay like 90 cents or whatever, I could just throw it in there and 2 more comics and make $1 out of it, or make a $10 out of it. What am I trying to say? If I have like 9 comics and I have 3 more, just go and throw them in there. It's almost like getting 2 more free. I've actually read this one already, but I was like, it was during a time when I was reading all my comics and then donating them or giving them to people, because I was like, well, I shouldn't want material things. Gosh, I wish I had learned that lesson. But yeah, I was just like passing them along. Whoa. CrossGen was purchased by Disney and basically buried. Oh, well, great. Hey, Disney. Marvel did something to them for a few issues later. That's all they've done with them. But, oh. Well, that kind of makes sense. Disney doesn't want anything good to happen. And this is the last comic. But yeah, I'm kind of going back and getting on my JSAs, even though I've already read them, the first 20-some issues. But I was like, might as well. Plus, this was a good story. It was really sad about him. If you know anything about the story, you're like, when you find out who he is, you're going to be like, oh, no way. It was horrifyingly devastating. And I think this is the culminating issue where he kind of, I think it's the end. His name is Extant in here, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. You definitely need to read it. This is part 3 of 3, by the way. So, don't want to spoil it for you. Definitely pick them up. Numbers, I guess, 13, 14, 15. The Hunt for Extant. Alright, so thanks, cheap comic book collector. And I think out of all the issues, I want to read this one right now because it says an Action Quest one-shot. So, good. I don't have to know anything before. I already know about Johnny Quest. Let's see, is there anything else I read? This is the number 1, so I think I'll put in that my to read now pile. This is something I'll probably take a marker to and go through. No. Yeah, I'll read that right now. So what else should I read right now? What else is something? I definitely want to read those from number 1 to the end. I've already read the first 5 or 6 of those, but I think I needed number 7 or something. I think these are also a one-shot. Like you don't have to read like issue 25 to get it. You just drop in like it's like in the good old days when they used to have 1 story per issue, or sometimes 3 stories per issue. 4 hour for people, man, I'm gonna need 1, 2, and 3 of that. I could probably read X Factor like that because I've already read them before. Well, Uncle Sam 1 and 2, but then I'm gonna want to read number 3. It's kind of like eating a Pringles. Another 6 issues in a series or whatever. I'm gonna want to read them all. Yeah, it looks interesting. Team Youngblood. All right, so those. So let me know which ones you guys think that I should probably go for first. I'm trying to just flip through these other ones because there's too many here. If I try to put them on the pile, they'll slide off the table and into the floor, and then my poor meatball will slide out the door. And I can't have that. All right, out of this pile, there's a whole lot of blue beetles, but I don't have number 1. I don't think I'll need number 1 for those. There's Alien Legion, but Booster Gold. Brigade, not this time. All right, for today's reading, I think I'll definitely read these 2. And I'll see you guys later. I am going to clean up a little bit, put these comics into the boxes too, and then slide them under here. And then on a nice day, because it's going to be raining for the next week, so I'm not going to be able to go outside. And when it finally starts getting nice outside, I can set up my tables and then start putting these things in alphabetical order. That's what I really need to be doing. Because it's like, well, I have number 1. Do I have number 2 somewhere? Do I hear 2? Do I hear 2? Going once, twice sold. So I need to put them all in alphabetical order, numerical order, and then I can start really getting down to reading instead of having to just do one-shots here and there. All right. So y'all have a great day. And it's Thursday. Remember, tomorrow's Friday the 13th. Hope you have a good one.